Guess what's back, guys? It is the ESL Major League with another great best of 3 for you today. SK is going up against Nexo, and you might be wondering, hey Khaldor, why exactly is SK suddenly playing? I haven't seen them in the Major League so far. Reason is quite simple. Not only Alternate dropped out of the ESL Major League within the first week because of a few rule violations, but Beat Our Bakers disbanded completely. So another team was brought into the league after Fnatic, and that is SK Gaming. So they have to play the remaining matches, and right now they're going up in the first game immediately against the Spanish powerhouse, and this is going to be a great game. Cursed Hollow is the first map, so we're going to jump right in. I'm going to find out what SK can do against Nexo. Cursed Hollow is the map, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 1 in the best of 3 series at the ESL Major League, and we have today Araragi for SK Gaming starting to the left side of the map on Stitches. Kumato Boss is playing Uther, Bakery on Sergeant Hammer, Snitch on Nazebo, and Zamoni is playing ETC for the team. To the right side of the map, it is of course their opponent El Nexo. The Spanish Armada is sailing once again with Vortex on Tyrande, Alastor on Vala, Gran Paquete on Rega, Lucifron on Chen, and LOL vs XD on Anubarak. I'm Khaldor, with me is Kalaris, and we're going to bring you the coverage of the ESL Major League once again.
Alright, so let's see how these splits go on. As we already see in Lucifron take position up to the top against Snitch, Bakery, as well as Mr. Kumato Boss? Is it Kumato Boss?
I think so. That's at least how I've been pronouncing him for the last few weeks.
Alright, fair play. Well, I can do that. That's okay. Love vs XD actually going to play Anubarak with Vortex actually heading up to try and do some damage to Bakery to start things off. Pushing him away from the tower at least, but the tower already took quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, they're of course trying to go for that tri-lane, and it's a really annoying lane to go up against. That tank is always in a great spot where you can annoy the opponents with the mines that give you additional safety. You have the range on the tank if you get into siege mode there, and then you have of course a healer to defend the queue, and also Snitch, who can with everything, all the skills that he has at his disposal, starting of course with the frogs and spiders, just making sure that nobody is getting close. But therefore the rotation from El Nexo, putting a tri-lane on the top on their own to just counter that as much as they can.
Yeah, we're seeing Stitches go for a bit more of a sustained build, going for Chew Your Food at the level 1 there, just to really start things off and make sure he's going to be nice and tanky when he goes into fights and stuff like that, keeping himself alive on the field, which is always nice.
Yeah, at the same time we have once again Regeneration Master used for Chen on the side of El Nexo, and that's actually a talent. Ooh, kill at the top, got the kill on Uther there, and LOL vs XD might die as well. He just barely gets away. Oh, that was close.
Oh, he had a few more ticks of that poison on him from Snitch's trait, and yeah, just barely got away with about 20 health, 18 health or so. So that was very, very close, but they did pick up that kill at least, as you mentioned.
Yeah, and as I was saying, like, the Regeneration Master talent is getting a bit more popular. We are seeing 3D Max use that on Zeratul, for example, and of course it's also being used on Chen here. Especially at the beginning of the game, it is very strong when you instantly get 4 hit point regeneration per second, which in the early stages of the game is very, very good to have. Besides that, we're having now also actually like swift reflexes taken on Chen. So he's actually trying to play him just also a bit more tanky with the Regeneration Master talent. He has the Anubarak to help him out a bit with the stuns, but of course as being the kind of only real tank in the lineup, you need to make sure that he at least has a few possible regeneration talents, because the one thing that is going to happen is that we're going to see Wandering Keg instead of the triple panda of Storm and Fire, and therefore you need a bit more survivability. Yeah,
and I also saw the easy camp being taken pretty quickly by both teams there as it was basically coming up, and it slightly favoured SK for a second because their tri-lane is up at the top there. Oh, missed a kill though.
Nice kill there on Sergeant Hammer. They went really deep for this one, and Hammer unfortunately not in a position where he could just like speed away in that case. Well, we're having both teams now fighting for the tribute, and so far Nexo is in a really good position. We already had one of their heroes going up to the top though. Alastor is still soaking XP here. So if SK wants the tribute, they should be able to fight it with a 5 versus 4, but so far it's nearly a level lead for El Nexo, and they look like they are going to get that tribute too.
Yeah, that's going to cause quite a few problems. With that level 10 slowly nearing here, we may have to see SK really sacrifice the idea of the next tribute and try and catch up. But at the same time, El Nexo might realize that and be able to deal with it effectively and just keep soaking themselves whilst taking that next tribute.
Yeah, they were also thinking about jumping into the mid lane to get maybe another kill on Zamoni, but then Zamoni was playing it a bit more passive since he realized that a lot of heroes were still missing on the map, so they abandoned the idea and are now just roaming again. And Lucifron is actually about to capture out the hard camp to the left side. He's already drinking from the keg. That old drunk panda is once again going for the bottle, and at the same time the rest of the team is rotating over. They're trying to steal it out. Nice initiation from Lolver60, and Aragi's in trouble.
Yeah, a lot of trouble despite having the little bit of sustain there. Really taking quite a bit of damage. Tyrande ends up falling though very, very fast, and there goes Aragi as well. So they were able to turn that around quite a bit, even picking up a LoL versus XD kill on Anu Barak as well. So not too bad in terms of the turnaround, even grabbing themselves a little bit of an experience advantage, and they can probably take this trip.
Yeah, that was a very, very nice move for them. The problem that El Nexo was facing there is they saw the camp, they saw that only 2 of the knights were still alive and both of them on low HP. So we had Chen jumping in and just like trying to hit the keg and drink up so that he gets the additional shield and has a bit of sustain. And they were rotating with the rest of the team towards the hard camp immediately. But Alistair was still stuck at the top lane, so he had a really long way to cover, and they were fighting a 5 versus 4 nearly the entire time. When Vala finally was arriving at the battle, 2 of the heroes were already down. So yeah, Nexo just being a bit too greedy here, and I don't think they realized how close the other teammates of Araragi actually were.
Yeah, giving up that experience lead now, so it's going to make that level 10 fight a little bit more difficult on their side of things, because right now we're seeing SK Gaming lead in that regard, although LoL vs XD going very deep into Bakery here on the top lane. Going to have to pull away though, those guys, with Alistair reinforcing as well.
Yeah, Alistair with the vault out of the wall of zombies. Snitch is getting very low in mana. We'll have to go back at some point. I guess Bakery is gonna hold the lane for now. Yep, and there's the TP. Level 10's already hit for SK Gaming, so they have a nice little lead in this first game in experience, but I don't think they can use that window of opportunity effectively. We have Puric Bile taken, the Mosh Pit, Ravenous Spirit, Napalm, and of course the Divine Storm. So at this point, level 10 hitting for the opponent's team, and basically everything that we already talked about earlier. It's the Starfall, the Ancestral Healing, we're having Web, and also Wandering Keg taken, and for Vala in this case, it is Rain of Vengeance.
Yeah, so quite a bit of lockdown there to be able to push people away, and then also good AoE potential to try and control these points. Bakery's taking quite a bit of damage going into this Trib fight though. He might have to be pretty careful about positioning himself wisely, as Lucifron's trying to push away Zarmony there, who does have a little bit of potential. There is a web going down to try and lock people away, but Aragi taking some damage.
Yeah, Aragi taking a lot of damage, and that Starfall was in the perfect position. Well, could have maybe been a bit farther to the left, but a really nice spot there so that SK can't chase, but they hook and they get the kill on Anu Barak. And Zamoni lets them dance, and Snitch uses his own ult to capitalize on that. Takes one hero down. Vala is now gone. That leaves Vortex up for grabs. He just barely gets away, but SK with a really nice team fight, and I find it really impressive how these guys are able to work together, considering how little time they really had to get used to each other's playstyles.
Yeah, what a snowball situation though, from that hard camp fight to now this, as you know, we've seen that little bit of a lead being eked out here by SK Gaming, taking their boss as well. They have to be careful to El Nexo. They probably want to contest their boss as quickly as possible, because they can't do anything about this one, and they certainly don't want to have to deal with this boss while theirs is also being captured.
The next problem that is going to arise here is that another tribute spawn would put a curse onto El Nexo, so they have to be really careful. If they rotate down to the bot lane and try to defend with the boss that was just taken by SK Gaming, and then suddenly tribute spawns at the top lane, for example, boss and curse could fall into the hands of SK Gaming. And there it is already, right next to the boss, so this is a horrible position for El Nexo to be in. Very uncomfortable.
Yeah, they're going to have to try and rival this spot, and then from then on, if they can win out a fight, then maybe that would be a great little move for them to actually go for their own boss. But as you said, that boss down to the south is pushing pretty hard. Going to have to try and take this. Vortex is going to go for it for a second, but you can't get that just yet. The presence of SK Gaming is very strong. And
level 13 is going to hit any second for SK now. They will try to get level 13 while delaying the tribute capture from their opponents, and there it is. So now they have an extra talent, and that is horrible for SK. The boss has already taken down the fort of the bot lane. Double sprint already used, and we're going straight into also again for Aragi that mixed build where he goes for the slam. Oh, and Lucifron is so low, just barely gets the way. They pull the aggro on the boss. He might get a stun off, doesn't, but Lucifron extremely low as the hook hits Lolver60 again.
Yeah, he tried to web someone in there. It was Kamataboss, but he's going to take a lot of damage trying to get out of that position with the ult from the Ravaging Spirit, trying to do some damage to him. Doesn't kill him off in the end, but Lucifron, once again, still very much under pressure here from Snitch and Bakery, who are doing a lot of damage to him.
Yeah, he was trying to move in and do damage to Snitch. Now he's just trying to get away as fast as he can, and will be able to do that. But Uther dies up at the top, so suddenly SK is down one player. Well, they still have the Ghost there, but not for long. Bakery is moving back. Oh, it gets stunned. Really well done. And LOL versus 60. Oh my god, that was sexy. Just uses the Burrow Strike and takes down the tank.
Yeah, the follow-up was nice. A nice little combination that we've seen there from LNX. So Grand PKT is going to pursue for the kill on Nazebo. And Zarmany now has to get out of there. Lot versus 60 going in deep into this fort range, but it doesn't really matter. That's a lot of damage that they're trying to put out, but ETC, as tanky as ever, manages to get out.
That was a beautiful fight by Nexo. Like the coordination that we saw there, the entire scene was like so chaotic, especially since we had Lucifron jumping Nazebo and trying to take him down. Then suddenly also Bakery had to help out on the tank. And from there on, it was just like chaos. Uther goes down from every single side. Heroes are moving in. SK is trying to disengage, and everybody just like gets taken apart one after another. It was really well played at Nexo here, and they had to keep a pretty clear head to get that though.
Yeah, they did. They're going to have to keep a clear head now, though, as this position is being rivaled slightly, of course. I don't think they're going to be able to get the steal. It's just a little bit too far out, but they may cause a fight. Lucifron and LOL versus XE just wanting to get out here whilst their damage dealers lead the way. And at least they get themselves a boss here to be able to push on towards his top lane.
Yeah, we have Barricade used again as a 13 talent on the side of Bakery. So interesting choice there. Most of the time when you see tank being played these days, it's either one of those ranged upgrades or it's going to be the Giant Killer. But in this case, it is again a talent that he has chosen to play at the weekend too. Besides that, Frost Shot of course for Vala, no big surprise there. We're having a focus on the W on Anubarak, going for the Hardened Carapace shield. And with the boss now, they are pushing it. Nice, great what we are seeing here from Tyrande. An absolutely amazing Starfall and the keg as well. But Snitch in the back is allowed to get his entire ult off. That's so much damage that he can dish out here.
Yeah, Bakery didn't have much opportunity to do too much damage at all there as Lutheron was pushing him away. That was really irritating. Losing the fort during all of this. Grand PKT is going to end up falling though. SKT managing to bring him down whilst all this chaos is going on. Nice move there. And Kamataboss really just wants to keep himself alive. They're even going to get a LOL versus XD kill.
I'm really surprised how El Nexo is allowing that Ravenous Spirit to go through the entire time. They have a lot of interrupt in their arsenal, but every single time that Snitch uses one of his ults, it just like completely takes El Nexo apart. Like he got so much damage in that last battle, and that shouldn't really have happened like that. Without the Ravenous Spirit going completely ham on the Spanish team, I think they would have won that fight easily. But of course for SK, it's great how they are able to put Nazebo in a spot where he can actually get that off properly.
Yeah, we're seeing from El Nexo here maybe too much focus on Sergeant Hammer. I don't want to really call it at this point, but they really wanted to try and take out Bakery there, and when the sustain was very good with Kamataboss, keeping him alive, healing him up, making sure he had shields with that protective shield. And now they're pushing on, and they've got themselves a curse. This is a nice start here from SK Gaming.
Yeah, SK Gaming is in a decent spot, but it's still 16 versus 16, so that fight can go either way. The Zamoni is jumping in, trying to make them dance here. Vortex is already down, Tyrande is dead, and now the rest of the team has to move back, but the hook hits Alistar, and the Ancestral Healing, oh god, does just not hit. Oh my god, and here it is again. Here comes the Ravenous Spirit once more, and is pushing them back.
That Ancestral Healing was like a split second off actually being able to cast there. But yeah, does not go down, and this pressure continues on. And with every single tower they get, with every single little bit of experience they get, and a top fort as well, they near themselves closer and closer to level 20. And going up against a Hammer at level 20, I've had hard times against this in the past week, and I imagine a lot of people have.
Hovering Siege mode has been taken now also on Bakery's Sergeant Hammer. We have Imposing Presence on Uther and on ETC, which is pretty much the standard with the stun build for Araragi Stitches. He really likes to play this hybrid build. In this case, he actually took on level 4 also the Slam talent, which is something that he has oftentimes in the past not done, but instead went for the additional sustain. In this case, he's focusing a bit more on the Slam itself. But yeah, those builds are really interesting, and especially the way that SK is playing this is pretty cool. But El Nexo is also opening a lot of possibilities for them to really shine here, and I feel they had a significant lead that they could have used to get farther ahead, but that fight at the top 4 definitely caused a lot of problems for them.
And I like how El Nexo's build is synergizing up in the level 16 talents as well, with Blood for Blood taking on Rhaegar to try and lock people down, and then Executioner for Valor to try and really focus down on those players and bring them down fast with the extra little bits of lockdown that they've got in terms of stuns, in terms of the Lunar Flare on Tyrande as well. So there's an opportunity for Valor to do a lot of damage, but it's whether or not everything chains up nicely for them against SK.
I personally am a bit surprised that we're seeing Executioner over Blood for Blood with this comp. They have a lot of stun there, there's a lot of potential to do the extra damage with the right clicks, but I would have expected that they go for double Blood for Blood to drop one of the tanks faster and to maybe try to keep Vala also alive. In this case, they're really just focusing a lot on the damage, especially with the Ranger Talon now also taken on Tyrande instead of going for the second Lunar Flare one. But yeah, it's interesting builds that they're currently going for, and I want to see how that's going to come into play when we have the next fight between the teams, because the talents are still exactly the same.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very cool. I'm really liking the games since the meta changed after the idea of the patch. Aragi, though, gets caught out very, very hard, and he is going to fall so fast. So, unfortunately, they're going to be without Stitches, potentially, in the next fight. They're going to have to avoid that for a little while. That
was, of course, a great rotation that we saw from El Nexo here. And the bosses are still down for several minutes. Actually, looking at it, the boss at the top is down for only another 10 seconds, so they should easily be able to get that, since SK will be only playing with 4 players for the next 35 seconds.
Yep. They can easily take that if they really want to. They're going to move down to bot, though, and see if they can find anyone down there, as we're having Bakery actually going to base and try and do so. If they get caught out with a 3-on-5, this could be a bit disastrous. They can't take this fight. They have to retreat.
Yeah, they need to retreat, and they need to retreat fast. Snitch, by the way, is leading the damage charts right now, thanks to all those heroic abilities that he could put in. Oh, a nice dodge by Snitch on the Owl, and that was an important one. If he gets dropped off his Billy Mount, then he would have probably died here with everybody on El Nexo already on horseback and trying to move in.
And Lucifer's going to start going for this trip, but we're already seeing Napalm Strike being thrown down by Bakery to delay that just a little bit. They're waiting for Stitches to get back into this fight, but the trip's going to go, and they are cursed for now. So that was always difficult. That Stitches' death up to the top really hurt them quite a bit in that last minute or so.
Yeah, it's a huge problem, but at least they didn't lose another one. There's nothing worse if you are trapped in that vicious cycle where you just like lose another hero just as one of your dead heroes is about to come back to life. It is absolutely horrible. You can lose an entire game on the top of that. You can fight for like minutes with always having only 4 players or even only 3 players in the game, so at least they avoided that, but they had to eat the curse for that. And it looks like the top is going to be taken, the boss at least, but we're still having that experience lead for SK Gaming, and we are closing in on level 20 slowly and steadily. And now with all the lanes pushing in, they can play pretty defensive or have to, and just get up the experience.
Yeah, and I like how El Nexo has orchestrated this boss kill, just leaving Chen to the front, maybe to get a tower here and there, which he did get just then, but also it keeps eyes on whether or not they're going to try and move up there, which during a curse, admittedly, is difficult, but at least they have eyes there, they had the watchtower, and they had Lucifer guarding that middle lane.
Yeah, and they also had him in plain sight of the opponent at some point, so they didn't really know, okay, are they taking boss? They are probably, but they're never 100% certain, and Lucifer can always get away with his wandering Keck. It's quite easy for him to get close to his allies again. And the boss is now moving in. Ooh, nice hook against Alistar. And you see, exactly that's where I thought that Blood for Blood might be a good option. To just keep him alive, get a bit more experience, a lot more hit points, and then move out. But that was a great kill by SK, and that was exactly the hook that they needed.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Nice little move there to try and catch him, and all of that was during the idea of not having Fishing Hook, taking that Slam Talent at level 16. So that was a very, very neat little hook there.
That was a wanted hook. You watched the movie, right? Wanted, where you can curve the bullet around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
That's basically what he did with that hook just now, because there was no line to Vala. Like, he curved it to the left and right just to get there somehow.
Yeah, that was very nice. At least I'm going to take a little bit of experience down to the bot for a second, or at least try to, as he gets pushed away there by Snitch. And we're seeing Oliver 60 as well as Vortex take that easy camp. Going to help up Grand PKT here with the hard camp as well, whilst SK Gaming is doing the same thing on the other side. And they have the level 20 talents coming in.
Yep. There was, by the way, a bug in the alpha where with your Impale on a Nubarak, you could curve it to an opponent.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Just follow that. It was a very, very fun thing to happen, but yeah, you could exploit that a bit, but it was pretty difficult to pull it off and not really all that useful. Looked very cool, though. But as you said, 20 talents are now on the board, and that means that we are having the Nexus Frenzy on Sergeant Hammer, so the extra 20% range and the 20% attack speed, which is amazing. The Annihilating Spirit is something that Snitch is going to be very happy about, considering how much damage he already did with his level 10 talent. And the Blink on ETC, which is pretty cool for him too, and Stitches is going for the tanky version, Hardened Shield for him.
Yeah, at least they're not going to lose some kind of fight on the back of not having level 20 before, but they couldn't really rival boss without the idea of level 20. So although they'd scouted it out, they're now just going to have to deal with a boss wandering down their bot lane. So, but they're getting in their level 20 talents, Harden Shield, Storm Shield, Blink Blink, as well as Rewind across the board.
For Tyrande, we oftentimes see Rewind taken over Blink. In this case, it makes a lot of sense to go for the extra mobility though, since especially Tyrande and Vala, of course, the two heroes that the opponent's team is focusing on a lot. And if you're getting hooked, then you always want to have a Blink ready to just get away there. I feel if not for Stitches, we would have probably seen Rewind in this case.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. Aragi, as well as SK Gaming here, are going to reposition themselves, though, trying to bait out a little bit of a fight on this trib. They throw the owl, and now they must realize if they're not round that trib, there's got to be some kind of bait out here. So Nexo are going to play this a bit cautiously.
Yeah, they have to be careful against the hook, and they know that very well. There is no Gorge, but yeah, there comes the interrupt already. They're moving in. Alistar needed to move back there. Bakery is in a pretty good spot so far, very hidden, but Lucifron can of course always use the Wandering Keck, and they actually ignore it. They just say like, yeah, whatever, it's only the first one, we can move up to the left. Now their path of retreat is cut off though. They're apparently trying to burst that keep, and they will get it, and then they're trying to turn around and fight the battle. That is an interesting strategy.
It's a ballsy one. They're going to have to fight, as already we're seeing Raga come in, but there's the Divine Storm with the Web Wrap actually being landed on just after Divine Storm went down. A lot of damage being done to Vortex though, as he's just barely going to get out. No! Oh, he's almost so close.
Oh, nice stun against Snitch. This time, finally, they cancel it out. Lucifron is already on the run. Two heroes are dead. Lucifron is going to die as well. Probably, I guess, Lolver's XT and Grand Paquette are going to get away. And the Fat Panda is suddenly... Okay, finally he gets the shot in. I was really thinking for a second that he might be able to escape here, but no. They lost 3 heroes, but they killed the keep. They, of course, were hoping to do a bit more than that. The only question is, how much is ASK going to take down now? Because it's definitely going to be a keep, but it might be more than that.
Yeah, losing that fight, I mean, again, it's not like Nexo were forced into that situation. They put themselves in that situation as SK Gaming grabbing a keep. It looks like they may push on a little bit further here, though. They've got the stability and the damage available to them. But Volver, 60 and Grand PKT try and go in. They're trying to get on Bakery.
Yeah, Bakery is getting quite low. Grand Paquette is doing whatever he can, but I guess that is going to be lights out. 50% on the core already, and there comes the web into play now too, but it's still only 2 heroes alive. Uther gets killed, but that's not enough. This is game, this is GG, and game number 1 goes to SK Gaming in the best of 3 series versus El Nexo.
Well, that was a pretty damn awesome start for SK Gaming into the league, taking down El Nexo on the first map of the best of 3 series. That was quite something. But of course, this is a best of 3, so we're not done yet. And the teams chose Cursed Hollow as the second map again. In Heroes of the Storm right now, it's possible to choose a map if you haven't won on the map already. So El Nexo, being the loser of the last game, decided to play the same map against SK again. And we're going to find out if they will this time be able to take down SK Gaming and force game 3, or if it's all over for the Spanish team after this game.
Cursed Hollow is map number 2, as already mentioned, and we are having SK going up against El Nexo once more. SK Gaming currently in the 1-0 lead in the best of 3 series here at the ESL Major League. To the left side of the map, we're having our Aragi in blue for SK Gaming playing on ETC, Snitch on Sergeant Hammer, trading in his Nazebo, Kumato Boss on Brightwing, Zamoni on Tacita, and Bakery is on his Vala, his favorite and probably best hero. To the right side of the map, though, it is in red El Nexo. They're down 1 game in the best of 3 series and have to win 2 in a row now. Vortex on Tyrande, Lucifron again on Chen, Grand Paquette on Uther, Alistar on Nazebo, and LOL versus XD again with a Beetle, trying to get his stuns in. This is of course the ESL Major League, and you're listening to Khaldor and Calaris.
A nice little owl there shot off to the top to be able to spot who was going straight up to that tri-lane, spotting Brightwing, spotting Valor. I think maybe caught the very end of Snitch there on the hammer, but it's to be expected in this tri-lane up to the top, so at least they gained a little bit of information to start things.
Yeah, and at the top lane, with those tri-lanes now clashing up against each other, we have, of course, quite a lot of stun already with LoL versus 60 and Vortex being in place. Bakery is, in this case, going for a Rancor build. Bakery is a great Valor player. Oh, there comes the initiation, and oh, that was really well done. Look at that damage! Oh my god, Snitch just barely gets away. But holy hell, was that good.
Oh, that was so close. I thought with the zombie wall he was gonna die for sure. He was very, very narrowly close to death, but manages to get out an owl at the end. Jeez.
If I was Snitch, I would just stay behind the gate and be like, nope, that's it, guys. I'm not gonna leave again. Like, I'm gonna stand here until they're gone. Tell me when they're gone, but until then, I'm staying here.
That was so close. So close. And they've actually tried to rotate around now towards mid. And Tassadar actually heading towards bot here to just hold on there, with Aragi now moving towards mid as well.
I can't believe that he didn't die. That was insane. But yeah, they're definitely going to try that again. They're going to try and go for that once more. That was, oh, there we go.
Ooh.
And no, this time they saw it coming. All right,
having none of it.
Yeah, not a single one hit. But yeah, before we started with that, I actually was going over the build, especially from Bakery's Vala. It's his best hero by far, and we are seeing him going for a Rancor build instead of going for multi-shot. We have Bribe on Brightwing, and yeah, disregarding that, pretty much the builds that you would expect with the Rangers marks taken on Tyrande. Now on, we should probably see Manticore, I guess, on Vala. Unless he's going... Well, he could go Manticore, that's one of the options that he has, but he's going for Arsenal. This is probably going to be, again, this build where we are then having on level 7 instead of either multi-shot taken, or we've even seen Khaldrops taken on level 7.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he's very, very confident in his abilities to just position himself well going into fights, thus he feels he doesn't need that extra range on multi-shot when it comes along, but for now there's a trip at the bottom. And we're going to see who's actually going to contest this. We're seeing quite a lot of movement down towards there. Bakery with Brightwing going to be able to support.
Yeah, and well, you know what? That was actually a really good move by LoL vs 60, but I think when we're talking about Bakery, one of the things that is important is that early on you can already decide to play a talent build with your hero that caters towards the level 20 talent. So with him going for a Rancor build, I wouldn't put it past him to later on go for Nexus Frenzy.
Yeah. That's true. They're all with all that extra attack speed he'll have from the Rancor and the Nexus Frenzy. He could be pumping out a lot of damage with those right clicks, but depends if he's able to get in the right position. As Lulva 60 is going to jump in right on top of Snitches, but he's prepared this time. As Snitches jumps straight on out.
Yep, and at the same time that tribute is still there. And nice zoning so far. I mean, really like what SK is doing to their opponents here. They have a bit of a lead too, but that healing ward is in a great spot. Heals everybody up again. Both of them, by the way, having one healing ward at their disposal, and they're using it. Chromatopause is getting a bit low. And still, it's a 5 versus 5. Nobody's trying to soak lane experience this time.
The sustain looking alright from Chromatopause, who is at the front here, so somehow not being focused down just yet as Aragi pushes forward slightly. Loosefront gonna just drink on up and get himself shields, but the sustain battle won out for SK Gaming there. It was very well done, and unfortunately for Nexo, they can't take this trip.
Yeah, it's also a problem of attacking into the hammer. You don't really want to do that, and he was in a very good position here, shielded by the rest of the team, and that was very difficult to take. So the tribute goes to SK. We have a slight experience lead for Nexo, just a few more creeps that they could take down during that time, but not too much. Level 7 therefore hitting for them a bit faster than for their opponent. Brewmaster's balance on Chen, we have the True Shot aura taken, Git Bin cleanse, and the W build of course on the Beetle again, going for the spines here. And it is battle momentum on Vala, so that works really well with Rancor, gets you the additional ultimate in every now and then.
I like how Nexo once again sent an owl towards hard camp, spotted them. Uther was slightly poising to maybe go down there, but ran into a few mines and decided, nope, probably not best. So at least they're playing it a little bit safer here with those hard camps being taken at this time. Just going to take their own and make sure that their lanes are fully soaked.
Yep, Hard Camp is now pushing into the middle, as you already said, and they are going for a tri-lane together with it, trying to just like push the Hard Camp of El Nexo back and take those towers down regardless. The tribute at the top is being completely ignored. Nobody likes him for some reason. Ah, okay. Tyrande makes it. No, not even Tyrande.
Oh.
Nobody cares about the tribute.
Just ran past, like, nah, let's not bother. But Aragi's going to help out here. So, but the Owl's going to land, as well as a few spiders nibbling at him. So it's making it a little bit more difficult to really capture.
Yeah, the spiders are finally there, but Aragi needs to be careful that he doesn't end up in a wall of zombies while Lola vs. 6D is engaging again. So everybody's rotating except for the two players at the bot lane. Zamoni is actually TPing back while Luciphone is pushing that wall in. So trying to stall that for as long as possible would be what they're trying to do. Level 9 versus level 9, and the experience that Chen is gathering up at the bot lane is really important. But we have Brightwing moving into the middle to try and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and, you know, with the positioning, at least Brightwing was able to grab the bribe on the easy camp, and then that's pushing up top, and now she can come into this fight if she really wants to. There's the healing totem, though, and that's going to keep the sustain all the more up. This is, as soon as Chen joins, yeah, the Brightwing can go up, but for now, soaking that middle lane with 10 nearing 10. For El Nexo.
Yeah, they're going to get 10 during that battle.
Uh-oh.
And that is when SK will have to disengage. Level 10 hitting any second now, and SK is already disengaging because they don't want to wait for it. And yeah, that's it. They give it up because they realize how close they are to level 10, give up the tribute, and now we have a slight level lead for El Nexo. They have their talents. Very well played by them. Very patient, first of all.
Yeah, just don't want to take... Again, you know, it comes back to what we were saying before. Safe, steady game being played out by El Nexo. They're going to push Luciphone away from the tower, but he is able to flying kick just on the other side of Aragi, and he will be able to keep himself fine and dandy.
Yeah, and well, for now we're actually having Luciphone defending together with Rampaketa in the mid lane, Snitch pushing that through. We also have Strafe taken for Bakery, great talent there, and that's one of those talents I really love if you are playing Rancor with Strafe, because what you can achieve is you can try and hit it very early in the fight, and then oftentimes you get a second Strafe in the middle of it.
Yeah, looks like once again Luciphone going to take a bit of damage here, going quite far. There was a nice body block there for Zarmony, but in the end it wasn't followed up by too much. The entire team of El Nexo is here. You've got to be careful if you're going to body block in that situation. But at least they're able to find the bottom, and they get themselves at least a tower off the back of this.
Yeah, I kind of like this game right now. We have 8 minutes in. There is still not a single kill on the board, but both of them are really, really working hard for it. They're trying to get that kill, trying to push, trying to position. You can really see how much respect they have for each other now.
Yeah, El Nexo's playing it slow, especially after the first game. I mean, there were those decisions that did hurt them. So playing it a bit slower compared to that. Another tribute's coming up.
To be fair to them, though, in the first fight, if they win that fight at the hard camp or at the top, they're suddenly in an amazing spot. But right now, here's the Keck once again, pushing them back, and they focus on Aragi. Great, that's exactly what they need to do. Look at Alistair with his Ravenous Spirit, getting that in. There's even now the web being used. They're trying to isolate another one with a Starfall already in position. Great moves by El Nexo here.
And Snitch coming out, that web gets exploded with the zombie wall around him. A lot of damage being pumped onto him. A great little isolation there, keeping the entire team away, and Zarmony's going to fall as well.
Oh, poor Snitch. I mean, that has to really suck. Think about that. You're webbed, and suddenly the entire opponent's team just like gathers up around you, and you pop out of the web, and half a second later, you're already dead.
How much you can do about that, my friend? Not much. It's this is going to probably give up bottom 4 as well. They could actually just send one person back to get that tribute and then be 2 of 3. So, lovely little fight there by El Nexo. This is pretty much the idea of what they wanted to do in the previous series, just coming to fruition here now.
Yeah, this is a that was a great fight that they just fought there. They got 4 kills against 0. They get the extra talent right now, the additional tribute. That was absolutely amazing. The Wandering Keg of Luciphone paid off completely. They isolated Aragi, took down ETC. Then, once ETC was gone, Alistair used his ult, got a lot of damage in there as well, and they just isolated hero after hero using web and also the Starfall. And let's not forget about that, to take down Sergeant Hammer. And it was extremely well played. And now, of course, they have, like, the bosses open there.
Yep, a lot of opportunity for them there. Snitch actually takes the easy camp up to the top, whilst the hard camp's been taken here by Zarmony and Aragi. But yeah, this boss is gone. They even send the Owl over to their opponent's boss and see nothing being done. So there is the potential that they can rival that position.
Well, boss is already done now. Bottom lane. Finally the 13 talent, at least for SK Gaming, you know, like that was one of the important ones that they really needed here. And now they can contest everything, unless, well, they have the Siege Giant Camp at the top. The Siege Giant Camp is going to help them with the defense against the boss, and Komato boss is there too. So I don't think that Nexo will be able to get boss to boss. Oh, but the curse spawns, of course, in worst position possible.
Yeah, so they're actually going to push slightly on, see that there is a potential fight being set up there already by SK, and just get straight back on out to try and rival this Trib spawn, which I think is the smart choice. They don't really want to be risking themselves down to the bottom left.
Ah, well, with them taking out the tribute, look at the boss at the top, he's nearly dead, but that fort is about to die as well. Well, doesn't really make a difference, they can keep it alive for now, not for long though. But now Brightwing can of course jump in with the rest of the team. Tries apparently to... No, moves into the bottom first, I'm not quite sure where exactly he's going. Finally he's starting to jump in, it's about time, they really need him here.
Yeah, the sustain once again for SK in the previous fights was good, but will they be able to get it this time? Lucifer's going to jump in, pushes away Stitch to start things off, trying to push them towards the fight, a few of them, and a web will go down to try and isolate someone out.
Ravenous Spirit was already taken out, by the way. It didn't even last a second there. They're going for Aragi again, and he's trying to heal himself up. Harmony in the back doing damage on his Archon. We have the healing wards there for both of the teams, but down goes ETC. The counter kill against the Nuburak, but it looks like Tazda might fall as well. No, he and Kumato boss are both jumping away, but Lucifron is already on hot pursuit. He's trying to move in again. He's trying to hunt him down here. Grandpa Kette with a sprint. Does he get the stun? They're going for Snitch. He's trying to move away too, but with a napalm and all those close quarters, and we have them disengaging. Nexo not able to get another kill in there.
Once the damage of the Ravaging Spirit has gone away, the sustain out of SK is really quite strong and something that's difficult for Nexo to deal with in these longer team fights, but and they will push them away from the Trib and grab it. So really well played by SK to keep that fight alive during all of that.
Yeah, that was... SK has done that really well. That stun out by Araragi. I mean, Araragi died on ETC, but he did that so well to stun out the ultimate on Azebo. And, I mean, you could actually, like, say that Alistair used it too early, that he didn't wait long enough to use his ult, and that just, like, a second later, he would have been in a much better position and probably would have been able to get the entire ultimate in there. But it was really a stun out the second he started, and there was a big problem for them. They were trying to isolate ETC already earlier and didn't really get the chance to do that properly. And then they were doing it again with the web, and then finally got the kill after a while. But yeah, Nexo playing this extremely well, but a little bit of a flaw in the last team fight. And SK is behind in experience, but you can really tell that those fights are close. And if SK just wins one of them, they're back. Yeah,
Tyrande really wants to get down here to the bot to try and rival the boss being taken. As Brightwing obviously can just teleport wherever she likes, so... is already here for a 5v5. And the Trib goes up to the top, and this one's important. Both of them are at 2 of 3 here.
Yeah, they have to fight for that now, and it is a very difficult spot because level 16 is now there, and I think SK Gaming will have to eat that curse. I do not think they can fight here, because there's a very, very high chance that they would lose the fight, and then the tribute would be taken, and at that point, you are losing keeps. And yeah, they just move back. They say, okay, there's no way, boys, we cannot contest that. Let's just eat the curse for now. Try to not fall behind too much and do whatever we can to just like get back to business. And in this case, it means taking ball.
Yep, just going to take that down to the bottom. Already been spotted here, but they're going to take that fort up to the top and try and push on a little bit further. Interestingly enough, Gathering Radiance being taken on Uther for a little bit of extra damage from Grand PKT. So has... I think they realized that they need a little bit more extra damage in these fights as the fight goes on.
Yeah, looking at... Oh, actually there we might have a bigger of a battle going on. Nope, just the defense, but the 2 towers should fall. Well, one of them does. And yeah, if you look at the damage just in general, we have Tyrande with a solid DPS, but just not enough. It's really just at this point Nazebo and also Chen who bring in the damage. And then you jump over and look at the DPS that we're having put out from SK, and you see that this is a whole different ball game, since they have both damage dealers that just like out DPS everything that's on the side of Nexo. And then in addition to that, you have also Tacita, which does a lot of damage. So as we already said in the draft screen, damage is going to become an issue for Nexo, and they really rely on Alistair getting his ultimate in, which he so far was only able to do once from those 2 team fights.
I mean, especially if we see the idea of double Nexus Frenzy being taken. Of course, you know, Vala might want to prioritize the idea of keeping herself alive, or even going into penetrating bolts on the strafe, whatever she likes. There's a lot of good options for Vala, obviously, but if double Nexus Frenzy comes in, then, geez, El Nexo better be careful.
Yeah, for them it's going to be Rewind on Nubarak, which is going to be amazing for them. So the Rewind is a good talent. I guess we're going to see Rewind on Tyrande too. We didn't see it in the last game, but I think that was because of the Stitches choice. So far we're not on level 20 yet though, and let's find out if, yeah, who's going to take that lead there, because so far it's still an excellent experience lead. But now we have Blood for Blood taken, the double Storm, which is going to be great for Tassadar to get even more DPS in. Stone Skin will keep Araragi alive even more, isolating him with the lack of DPS that we're seeing on El Nexo might not be the key anymore. So yeah, this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, I'm scared for anybody who gets polymorphed here by Brightwing, because she's taken Criterize there on that level 16, so they are going to get blown up if the focus goes down on them smartly. Lucifron, though, zoning out 3, whilst Aragi's going to take a lot of damage, but they managed to keep him alive. Unbelievable.
They managed to keep him alive. Web is being used once again, but this time at least Alistar got his damage in. That was an important one. And, yep, Bakery goes down, and Zamoni is on the run. People are actually a bit confused. Oh, Aragi jumps in! That might have been a mistake there. Oh, he's trying to push them away, but suddenly all that stun is coming into play, and BAM! He goes down after all.
Zamni in a lot of trouble as well, and he's probably going to fall. A small body block there by level 60, probably not even that required, but a 4 is going to be given up for that. We also saw Sergeant Hammer having to flee down to the south, and Kumamoto Boss getting pursued there by level 60, just a good zone out, but nice little fight by them in the end. Lucifron zoning out with the barrel of 3 members during that, caused so much chaos at the beginning of that fight.
Oh yeah, Lucifron did a great job there, and having... it was quite amazing to have somebody like Alistar able to get his ult in for this long. I really thought in the last fight, okay, you need to get at least a few seconds in, but that he would be able to get the entire ult on against the hero combination that we're having for SK here, with the Brightwing always threatening with the Polymorph, and then also, of course, Araragi trying to use his ETC to stun him out. That was quite something. They got a lot of damage in there, and after the Ravenous Spirit was done, everybody was kind of low or out of position, and they went for it, and they took a beautiful fight there, which gives them an entire level ahead now.
Yeah, we're seeing El Nexo now just try and push on towards this. They have that boss pushing top, but obviously they've SK Gaming really would like this. So El Nexo's going to try and deny it as much as possible to stop them from getting that curse at this point.
Yeah, well, and that curse, that's something that first of all, of course, El Nexo has to deny, but also it's something where SK can say, okay, we give it up. If we don't feel it, we give it up, and I think they have to, because El Nexo is not going to try to rush in here. They have all the time in the world, because that boss is going to take down the top keep, no questions asked.
Yeah, Kumamoto Boss is going to have to go up there and do some damage to it, but might not be able to even take it down before that goes on. Brightwing doesn't necessarily have the most damage, just in case you're new to heroes, but it's, yeah, doesn't kill things off too quickly.
Yeah, one of the things that I just want to point out, because it's apparently confusing people a bit, the so-called sound issues that you have every now and then, that is caused by Nubarak's web.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a bit of a bug, apparently, that Blizzard has still in the Observer UI, because that's what happens when you, as a player, get webbed, that suddenly everything is sounding a little bit different, because you're supposed to be stuck in a web. And as we are observers, there seems to be a bit of a bug for the interface that causes that sound to occur as well, which can be quite confusing if you don't know. Like, that confused the hell out of us, too, at the last time when it happened for the first time.
Yeah, but we're well aware of it now, so it's just normal to us as we suffer the point of view of being inside the web. So
it's actually nice, because even if you miss it, you hear it, and you're like,
exactly, actually.
There's a web somewhere. I know somebody just got webbed. I just have to look for him.
It can be a little bit difficult to spot when you're zoomed out with Z and the entire team fight's going on. Yeah. So thanks, Blizzard, for being able to help us out.
It's not a bug. It's a feature. Bot lane. Boss is taken here. The Grave Golem is being attacked, and well, they're gonna get that easy peasy, but the problem is, bam, level 20 any second now on the table for El Nexo, and that is going to make the Spanish Armada nearly unsinkable for the next few seconds here. We're already seeing a Hardened Shield taken on Chen, 1 rewind on Nubarak. Interestingly enough, no rewind on Tyrande, not going for the additional damage here, which I thought they would aim for, but they're going for the additional shield. And it looks like Nazeebo, in my opinion, has to take the Annihilating Spirit here. I mean, they need the DPS, I feel. Or is he just like completely gonna go for a different path. Nope, there it is.
That would have been interesting to hide it away from them until the very end, but you're right. I mean, it's the obvious choice. They want the extra damage. Bakery's actually going to take an owl to the face whilst they're cleaning up this bottom boss. So at least that does a little bit, but it should be able to keep that nice and sustained once Brightwing gets back down there for a team fight.
Yep, boss is going to make it towards the keep, and that's all that this boss is going to do. Oh, but they're jumping Zamoni, or at least trying to. Here comes the stun, but the dimensional shift is being used to get away from him. El Nexo is chasing them. They really want the team fight, but they don't get it. They might get that tribute, though, and that is, again, a curse.
Yeah. So, and looks like there's not really too much rivaling. They can't really do too much whilst they don't have level 20, and they still don't have level 20 whilst this curse is going on. So this is causing them a few problems. At least the hard cam was pushing through the mid lane and removed all of the ammo from that initial wall, but El Nexo is looking like they're on the warpath.
Yeah, they definitely are. They're moving in already. Oh, we have to see a rotation just now, but they were trying to get up the experience at the top, and there it is, as suspected from us earlier. Double Nexus Frenzy being used, with also the rewind on Brightwing now, and things are now getting very scary for El Nexo. Extremely scary. This is a whole different game for them now.
Yeah, that makes a massive difference with the double Nexus Frenzy in there. Any fight that they take, one person is going to blow up unless they're very, very cautious about how they take that fight. So El Nexo has to be, I would say, more so the careful team when going into these fights, because their team just lacks a little bit of damage compared to the other side.
Yeah, and well, for them, I mean, for them it's really tricky. If they get jumped, I feel especially if Nazeebo gets jumped, then they're in so much trouble. They depend on his damage a lot, so they have to peel for him, and that's when the Wandering Care comes into play from Lucifron. They need to utilize that to its fullest extent. They have those curses going, they have the first keep down, all of these things are important, but winning the next team fight is going to be crucial, and it's going to be very difficult at the same time because of that Nexus Frenzy. The extra range is great, and Vala right now, it's like she has a machine gun. She traded those two ballistas in for a machine gun, and it's going to do work.
Yeah, she is. She really is. At least El Nexo, on the other side of things, could try and out-sustain because they, or at least strangulate their opponents, because the keep up to the top has actually fallen, but they're looking to rival boss position here, SK Gaming. They're happy to take a fight if it comes to that.
And those bosses by now, 22 minutes in, are strong. They're really strong. You can't give those up, and I do not think they're going to do that either. They have to move in, and they have to move in right now. There comes the Owl already, and they're seeing what's going on.
Aragi's very low, though. I don't think they can take this fight with Aragi that low. Lucifron's actually going to jump in straight away with the Wandering Keg to try and zone out Zarmony, who is taking quite a bit of damage himself.
The Spirit, the Annihilating Spirit, they take down one, and they might go for the second. Our Aragi lets them dance. He's a party animal, but they still take him down. It was a bit too late. Oh, look at the tri-stun that we had from LOLver60. Perfect setup.
I think Aragi's taking so much damage, and then I mean, Brightwing wasn't there for a little while during that as well. Really, really hurt in the end. And I mean, look at this. El Nexo is just pursuing on. They're happy despite having a few of their members low, but Bakery is going to fall, and Snitch has to get out of there.
Yeah, the hate on Bakery is real. They really wanted him. I mean, they were chasing him halfway through the map, and now they can, of course, just simply go up, take the boss, and then try to end the game with that. They might have enough. Nah, it's going to be a 5 versus 5 with on the back of the boss, unless they want to play it extremely safe and go for a keep there. But yeah, that jump when they moved in and got that Ravenous Spirit off, once again, the important thing was really Chen keeping Tacita and to a certain extent also ETC within the range of the Ravenous or the Annihilating Spirit. That was extremely important that they got that off like this. So very well done by El Nexo. And well, SK Gaming just wanting a bit too much in that situation.
And I think we're going to have to see SK try and rival the bottom boss soon, because that is going to end up spawning pretty quickly as the basing of El Nexo does go down. And look, they already know it's going to be spawning in 10 seconds.
They can't rival that boss. They cannot do that. They can go for the hard camp, but if they really go down to the bot lane and try to rival the boss, the top boss is going to take them apart. It's threatening the core already and moving in, and SK has no chance rivaling now the attempt from El Nexo to grab this boss, because if they do, then El Nexo is going to stall it out as long as they can, and the boss is going to go do work.
Yeah, it's a tough situation once you end up losing a fight like they did up at top boss, as this one is going to push forward. They'll eventually kill it off pretty fast, but those owls are now hitting for 1,000 plus. The Zarmony takes one straight to the face. Boss is going to go down at the bottom. And this is going to be a lot of pushing power.
Yep, once again they have that boss, but they need to do something with it. They need to either fight with the boss and make sure that it drops the keep, or do something else, because just simply letting it run in and move to a different lane to deep push, that just doesn't cut it anymore. You have to do more than that. They got the tribute, they have everything that they need in their hands, and now they just need to play it patient, fight with the boss. If they're lucky, they're going to get stunned in there. That keep is down as well, so 2 of the keeps are down. They want to finish it here.
Yeah, it's gonna be difficult really for SK to really hold on against that. Despite the idea of the double Nexus Frenzy and a lot of power behind the damage that they can do, they're still relatively squishy if the backlines are able to be breached. With Law versus XD now looking for an opportunity. Snitch gets pinned down.
Yeah, but and here comes Aragi. Oh, he misses it! Aragi missed his ult. A second later, it's the polymorph, but that could have hit somebody else. Down goes Tyranny, but look how fast that core is dropping. El Nexo is going to take this game, or are they? Nezebo is down, but the boss alone is taking it on. The core eliminated, and this is a 1-1 in the best of 3 between SK Gaming and El Nexo.
The score in the series is 1-1, and we have the final map coming up. It is the choice of SK Gaming, and it is Sky Temple. Sky Temple will be played, and SK has done very, very well so far. But in the last map, the Spanish powerhouse was just a tiny bit stronger than they. And we, of course, going to find out which team is going to win the best of 3 series here. El Nexo so far, a nearly flawless record in the season. The only team that they lost to was Fnatic, and that was a very, very close encounter. But now they are once again fighting for their life in the last map of the best of 3 series. So guys, without further ado, let's jump in and find out who takes it here on Sky Temple, SK Gaming or El Nexo.
Sky Temple is the map, ladies and gentlemen. Map number 3, the decisive map in the best of 3 series at the ESL Major League. SK going up against El Nexo. And to the left side, once more in blue, Aragi on Stitches for SK Gaming, Snitch on Azebo, Bakery on Sergeant Hammer, Kumato Boss on Uther, and Zamoni on Tacita. As to the right side, we see El Nexo spawning in red, with Vortex on Tyrande, Alistar on Vala, Grand Paquette on Malfurion, Lucifron on ETC, and LOL versus XD has his special relationship with the Nubarak, so no surprise to see him on the hero again. Let's jump into the game. I'm Khaldor with me is Kilaris, and this is the ESL Major League.
Alright, we're already heading up to Watchtower with a little bit of fight going off. LOL versus XD taking some damage, but burrows right on out of there and keeps himself alive, with SK Gaming being able to pick up that Watchtower for now.
Yeah, and interesting is that we are seeing a scouting drone picked from Malfurion on level 1. So going for a talent that I personally didn't expect here just yet. The rest of the talents on level 1, pretty much the standard double Conjurer's Pursuit on the side of SK Gaming, a Sustainable on Stitches with Chew Your Food, the range talents on Sergeant Hammer. And yeah, it's gonna be a pretty... I really like this, because this is going to give them a lot of vision on the map, and on this map in particular, you kind of want to have that. But I want to see how Malfurion is going to use that. That could be cool.
Yeah, I guess just to be able, as you were saying, the vision is very, very important, but in essence, it allows them to be able to spot who's going to be going to which temple at any particular time, or shrine, you know, whatever you want to call them. As well, Aragi's taking quite a bit of damage. He did get rooted. There's the burrow as well to try and pick him up, but not enough damage to bring him down finally.
Yeah, playing Stitches, I really love those situations where you should be dead by rights, but then Chew Your Food just saves your ass in the last second. In this case, he gets away. We're having now top contested, or at least the vision contested by El Nexo, and that's a very important Watchtower, especially for the first temple phase when we're having the mid and the top temple activate.
Yeah, we're going to be able to claim that one in the mid quite easily. Stitches can't really say too much about that, so he's going to sit around in that lane for a little while and soak a bit, whilst slightly pressuring, and the top one going to SK Gaming. So even trade in terms of those shrines thus far.
Yeah, and more importantly than that, inexperience. We don't see that snowbally situation at the beginning of the game where one of the teams pulls ahead and then has an easy time on the second temple, since it will hit level 10 faster. In this case, double healing ward on the side of El Nexo, a single healing ward for SK Gaming. We're having for ETC the Echo Paddles being used, pretty standard here, at least when we're talking about the normal ETC for El Nexo. Aragi plays it a bit different, as you might have seen earlier.
And also, yeah, the amplified healing coming down on the Stitches. It does have a bit of change up, so there is a bit more sustain there. Oh, wow, a big, big stun going on to Kumeda Boss, and he gets out with Bakery as well. That could have got a bit scarier. but they were able to get out successfully.
If you hit those stuns perfectly and then in comes the Root and Vortex Lunar Flare, that is extremely scary.
Yeah.
You can lock down a target for ages. And they were in a position where they definitely felt that. They felt the pressure. And we have now a bit of a, not really a roaming squad, but just like Vortex and LOL6D aiming for some giants, some siege giants, mercenaries to push in the lanes, as of course the next temple is going to be activated in roughly a bit more than a minute.
Yeah, if they do continue on with the idea of roaming around with those two after going for this easy camp, then there is the potential that once again people get just shut down and locked down. But I think they're just going to head back up to top for now and make sure that that tri-lane that we're seeing from Bakery, Snitch and Kumato Boss is locked down nicely.
Yeah, level 7 talents now also in, and that means, once again, two-shot aura. So far we haven't seen a lot of battle momentum played by El Nexo and Tyrande, but it is of course the talent of choice for Vala. To the left side, it's Cleanse Storm talents on Tacita, who by the way on level 1 did take Conjurer's Pursuit as well and not go for his Storm talent. We're having no Gitbin chosen yet for Nazeebo, but that should happen any second now. Oh, a mule instead. Alright, he's the one to pick up the mule, and Malfurion is also waiting for it. He's also thinking about, guys, should I take mule here? Do we need it? And I like to see that on maps like Sky Temple.
Yeah, may have just been waiting to see if it was taken on the other side, which of course they would like to match them blow for blow and make it a bit more of an even playing field in terms of repairing those things up. But bottom shrine is now active. They're going to try and jump on Araki though in the mid.
Yeah, they're trying, but they're not getting him. Forcing them back for now, but bot lane is now 2 versus 1, so they're getting in position first on the temple. Still no 7 talent for Malfurion. He still can go for the mule. They're probably just going to wait for as long as they might need it, but right now they are the ones who take the temple. So that's apparently the cue for Malfurion to disregard the mule option.
Yep, Enduring Growth gets taken instead. LOL6D gets hooked in, but unfortunately there for SK Gaming, they can't get enough damage down onto him that would really make a huge difference as Rejuvenation lands on him. And wow, Araki just gets healed straight back up thanks to that Shuya food.
Yeah, and they already got most of the shots in, so they are starting to close in on level 10. Nice, the stuns there. Araki is getting low, needs to retreat. Zarmoni also in a position, and they are still hugging the temple. I mean, El Nexo is not giving an inch here.
Oh, and Kumato Boss might actually be giving them a mile as he ends up falling, does Uther. So nice pick up there. Eliminating the idea of a healer means that they can push on a little bit further, but oh! They were able to get Vala.
Yep, the Uther goes getting it. Oh, the lockdown and the web. They're getting the 10s now. When they just like crowd around Araragi, and he is going to die here. Nice stun, and he's not going to make it. But LOL6D is about to die. He dies to the poison. They make Snitch dance and push him back, take him out too. So at the end of the day, it's 2 kills versus 4 on the board.
2 kills versus 4, and they got the entirety of that temple down to the south. So that was a lot of damage coming out from that. Of course, no forts have fallen just yet, but they're weakening up those positions and making it a little bit easier later on for them to push on forwards.
LOL6D must also have been a bit frustrated in that situation. He got away from the fight, was still alive, but then the poison took him out, and he was probably just like looking at Malfurion and was like, dude, do something, do something. And I was like, I'm in cooldown. I was like, I don't care, heal me, do something, just give me a leave. And, yep, no way.
No, nothing for him, poor little guy. The trait of Snitch, I mean, it's not even got to the point where it's doing the 200% extra over at level 16 or so, but yeah, still able to just tick slightly and cause the appropriate amount of damage. And, well, they're actually pushing on quite aggressively here as Aragi onto that easy camp. Wow.
Yeah, easy camp, one of the siege giants is moving over. Keep in mind that Uther is not with them. They are lacking the healer in the situation, and Uther is trying to get in as fast as he can. And, well, we have the rest of El Nexo already in position, so there's a wedge between the entire El Nexo, SK team and their healer. Kumato Boss is moving in, going up against Current Paquette. Snitch with the Ravenous Spirit, and 1 kill right off the bat.
So much damage coming out. There was no opportunity for them to even jump onto that side. Snitch going completely uncontested in that regard. A nice hook onto Alistair, but he will try and vault out there and does keep himself alive. That could have gone a lot worse, but a nice engagement by SK, despite the idea of Kumato boss being way out of position, and he actually just managed to barrel through the back lines of El Nexo there to get to the fight.
Yeah, he was trying to get more experience at the top, and they realized very late that there was a 5-man fight happening at the bot lane, and then they told him immediately, and he was trying to get there as fast as he could to contest it. But yeah, he came in, they got the kill, and now they take bot temple. The top temple goes to the opponent's team, and both of them are just like trying to push through the structures. The talent lead is going to be there for El Nexo, and they will be a bit ahead after this.
Continuously sending owls down, actually spotted boss being taken, I feel, down there, unless Kumato boss was able to block that. I'm not quite sure, but I think he got through towards seeing the boss. But, I mean, they're so far away, they can't really rival that position, so that's a bit unfortunate there for El Nexo.
Yeah, El Nexo should actually know that boss is currently being taken. There is no need to have 4 heroes on the temple when you know that your opponent is pushing in the top lane with 3. So there's absolutely no need to do that, and there were nowhere else to be seen on the map. So the only other location where they could have been is boss. They sent an owl in there, but they just said, okay, we cannot contest that, we won't be there in time, we have to push through the top fort, that gives us a bit more. We can deal with the boss as it happens. It's only an 8-minute boss, so it's gonna be okay, and we will still have a bit of a lead in experience, at least for the time being.
This boss is a mean boss, though. He's pushing on towards these towers. They're actually going to take him out pretty quickly. As you mentioned, with only being the 8 minutes, he doesn't have that much health. But at least he has things like tornadoes. I like
exactly,
tornadoes
are funny.
Yeah.
They are random, and they always seem to be in the position where you don't want them to be.
Yep.
There were like kills that were made possible by a tornado where you just really... It's amazing. Sometimes these things are great.
Yeah, they're funny. They are very, very funny. They're going to take hard camp up to the top. Seeing El Nexo now push down towards the bottom fort, so they can eventually now go 2 for 2 in terms of those forts. But with the positioning that they're actually at, I think they're probably going to lose top fort themselves.
No. They can't lose it, because what they are going to do is they simply pressure... as soon as they see the heroes at the top, they would have simply pressured the keep, and then would have triggered either the wall at least to go down, or the entire keep, or of course the opponent to move back.
It's a good point. They were very well positioned for something like that as the follow-up. Mule goes to work on middle fort, keeping that alive for a little bit longer here at least. So, nice pickup of that talent. Of course, it does come at the detriment of having a little bit less damage, but thankfully with the hammer there, it's not as much of an issue.
I really like the movements from El Nexo on the map now. That kill on the fort at the bot lane was a good one, because the more structures you take away from your opponent, the less targets you also give the temples when they activate. And that's really good for you, because you start to pressure those keeps themselves a lot faster than your opponent. So that's one of the things that they're trying to do here. But the middle is still active. So we're having now, once again, the exchange between temples. Mid temple goes to SK. Top temple goes, in this case, to El Nexo. And yeah, they're not even trying to contest anything. They're just like standing there saying like, alright, we're going to take the temple or the fort in the middle down, and then we can still rotate a bit later.
Mule may have caused like 1 or 2 more shots to go off on that fort in mid, but not too much more than that. As we're seeing El Nexo now try and get back to that middle position with the pressure that was being done. I mean, you mentioned it before, you know, the idea of eliminating extra targets. So now that laser's doing all right on that middle turret, and well, doesn't really get too many shots off on the middle keep, but it'll get a few.
16 talents now for both teams, so it's very close when it comes to experience. I mean, even at kills, if you look at 3 kills for SK Gaming, we have 4 for El Nexo, but now we're having the additional sustain on ETC with Stone Skin. We're seeing also for Anubarak, in this case, the Epicenter once again being used, and all of that is pretty awesome, especially for the initiators in the team here, to either stay alive longer or do more. And Lucifron is getting attacked there. Nice stun by Kumato boss, and immediately web being used as well. The lockdowns are definitely real, but look at that ultimate from Snitch again. Very, very good ult from the Zebo.
They've got to get out of there. They're taking so much AoE damage. Oh my god, Lucifron, Law vs XD and Vortex getting very, very low. That was sick amounts of damage coming out from the Ravaging Spirit, and you know, that was the difference between that fight. There was no way they could stick around.
Yeah, you have to keep Anubarak in a position where he still has one of his cooldowns up to deal with that. And they were surprised by the attack, so they couldn't really do anything there. But they got away without losing one of their heroes, so that was an important one. All the ults have been used, except for the Mosh Pit. Boss is gonna respawn in a minute, so there's still some time on that. We're having just Owl send over the map. The experience is the same. At the bot lane, it's a 4 versus 4. In the mid lane, I should say. We're not seeing Malfurion with the team just yet. But yeah, it was a pretty nice skirmish that we had between the two of them.
And we're seeing Hammer actually taking graduating range over the Hover Siege tank. So once a fight goes down and Nexus Frenzy comes along, the range you get out of that is actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
So they really, really need to somehow lock down Bakery when it gets to that level 20 situation.
Yeah, and Bakery even playing it again with a wall here, with the barricade. Oh, stun against Aragi. They're trying to go in. Bakery in a very good position for this fight. This is a great spot for him.
Yeah. Protected by mines, even if they were to get there, but, I mean, there's no way. Absolutely no way. And also, you know, you were mentioning before, the barricade, I guess once it comes to those later situations where you have graduating range and Nexus Frenzy, if by chance they get on top of you, barricade's there to help you out too.
It's actually interesting to see that talent. Most of the tank players go for knockback mines on level 13. Or, oh, the hook! Great hook, but look at that stun that we're seeing. Web already being used, barricade as well, but Stitches is very low, gets stunned again and gets dropped. The first kill goes straight to El Nexo, and ETC makes them dance to get kill number 2, which is Nzebo.
The Starfall, the Mosh Pit, everything there for El Nexo really worked out nicely. Unfortunately, the hook really backfired there on SK Gaming, and Mr. Kumata Boss gonna end up falling as well. So really, really nice little engagement there. A good turnaround, at least, on the counter-engage as that hook came in afterwards.
And that's going to be Temple plus Boss for El Nexo, which is absolutely amazing for them.
Yeah.
They're going to get an entire Temple through. They will be able to take the Boss, which should pressure the bot lane significantly. Another 30 seconds in Uther. But that was a really good fight that we saw there from them, especially the way how we saw Anubarak just like stun the targets out over and over. Alistair fighting with that tornado, by the way. He was really just going to the right side, or trying to, but that tornado had different plans.
There's another one spawning. Grand PKT moving way out of position for that one to really do too much. And all of a 60 actually popping his web wrap up to the top to lock that down for a second. Doesn't want to be in too much trouble against Bakery and Zarmani, but at least they were able to wrestle away the top shrine, top temple I should say. But and El Nexo's actually not going to compete for it by looks of things.
I find that a bit weird. I think they probably do it because low over 60 is just too low and they had to send Tyrande bottom, because as long as they contest and the temple is there, you will be torn if you're on SK's sides between trying to fight for the temple and defending against the boss at the bot lane. So in this case, them giving it up also of course allows SK to not only take the temple but then also to TP back and deal with the boss.
Yep, they're going to have to get back there pretty quickly. It's going to take down the wall at least, so maybe when temples come back up again, there is an opportunity for them to do some significant damage to keeps as they go along. They've done quite a lot to the top one. Actually, I look at it, and not as much as I was expecting after giving up that temple. But for now, they're going to try and move into a bush.
Yeah, they're nearly a full level ahead. Like, it's 18 versus in the second 19. They occupied 2 of the bushes. 3. There's a lot of party bushes that they have there, and they just need one hero to move out of position and pose as a target for Anubarak. It's all that they need, but very passive play now by SK. They see nobody on the map, and they're like, okay, careful boys, this is weird.
Yeah, definitely. They've got to be very, very careful. I think... Okay, so they're actually going to take the easy camp down here as well. This will reveal their position for just a little bit. But there's no reason really for SK to push on much further than just killing off these 2 easy camps down to the bot, which do cause a bit of annoyance if you don't deal with them, so want to get those down quickly.
Nice owl. Hitting our Aragi in the belly. Didn't like that, but yeah, both of the Siege Giant camps are now taken out within seconds, of course, especially Napalm making it possible. But it's the rotations on the map and that extra experience that we are seeing soaked by El Nexo that gives them a slight edge still, and that should give them an earlier 20. It's all about the next temples. If you have the luck that you hit level 20 before your opponent and then the temples open up, you already know that you are in a great spot.
Uh-oh, and here they come. We don't have 20 just yet, but maybe they'll try and get something in mid lane as a little bit of it pushes on. And they're trying to bait out a fight here. And good Storm to actually not face check that bush, I should say. And it's going to be competing for this top one to begin with.
Yeah, hook is going to be thrown pretty soon. Bakery is already in position. LOL versus XC is still waiting, trying to shield the rest of his team. They might just move down to the bot lane.
Oof. Yeah, they
say
may
like, alright, we don't need it. But they know they soak the experience in the mid lane. They really try to aim for that 20 now. Nice, there's the first stun. They're going for Aragi, or they were thinking about it, moving outside of the hammer range again. Having vision there, they control the temple. They control the temple, just barely, but they do.
And can the Amp sustain the idea of this hammer doing a lot of damage once they move into it? Graduating range is fantastic for helping out these temple fights here, as Bakery's been set up for a long time. His range is right on top of this temple, so he's going to be doing the damage. Here comes the zombie wall to try and lock someone down. They don't get it in the end.
Party time! They go straight for the mosh pit again, and look at those stuns from Alistar, getting 2 in, but once again the Ravenous Spirit.
Just zoning out 4 of them, whilst Lucifer was taking damage at the front. He's finally going to fall after a lot of punishment there. And LOL vs XC is also going to end up being shot down, so... graduating range, a Bakery causing so much problems, even just by his presence alone, not necessarily by the damage, because he has so much range that goes all the way to the edge of that temple.
I don't really think they had to fight there. If you want to fight, you need to fight faster, I feel, and not wait that long. But then once they gave the temple up, they should have just moved to the bot lane and claimed the bottom temple and be like, alright, we're gonna give you this one, but we take bottom. Now it's level 20 versus level 20, and it's still pretty even, but the big difference is that first of all, we're having the bottom temple now also in the hands of SK. They start to threaten the bottom keep, and they already destroyed mid keep, which is probably more important.
Yeah, they might actually have to... they're going to move down with Uther as well as Siege. So I keep calling it a Siege tank. Sergeant Hammer. I've got too much of a StarCraft brain going on. So maybe they can rival this position for a little bit longer with the fact that there aren't 2 people up. Then you just need to respawn here for Nexo.
Yeah, and we have the 20 talents. We have Hardened Shield and Nexus Frenzy used for Stitches and Sergeant Hammer. And the other talents, Ravenous Spirit, of course, Twilight Arcane, and also the Divine Hurricane. If you look at the mobility attempts now that we're seeing for Nexo, that's also quite nice, especially since we're having the rewind on Anubarak. But still, having that Hardened Shield makes Stitches nearly unkillable for 4 seconds, and Nexus Frenzy is absolutely brutal for Hammer. We've been talking about this for nearly a week now, so the level 20 is definitely going to be a problem for Nexo, even though they have that double Storm Shield.
And they're going to try and move through towards the middle position here. But again, unless they take a fight that ends pretty early on, unless they're able to lock down Bakery, I don't know how they're really going to end up engaging this properly. It's going to be difficult. I mean, it might be up to even the Bolt to be aggressive from ETC, something crazy to try and actually get a good engagement off here for them.
They have actually like a lot of mobility, and they also have the rewind now. So for Nubarak, it will be a lot easier to dive Bakery if they want to. It's the fight for the boss now that really counts. They could even attempt to just like move around their opponents. Ooh, there's already ETC moving back. It's really such a close game. And I mean, this is game number 3. This is another thing that is on top of all of it. It's game number 3, and this win here will decide the best of 3 series.
Look at the range Hammer gets when with all of these talents lining up. How do you supposed to engage into here as Nexo?
They're engaging like this, and they're getting everything off the root, the mosh pit, and the web as well. Our Aragi just using the Hardened Shield to keep himself alive, but not for long. He dies in the end as well. Yes, he will. Kumar, the boss, was trying to save him, but he pays with his life for it now too. The boss gets a quadruple stun off, but he's gonna fall as well. And this was brilliant. This was extremely well played by the Nexo, and a bit of a mistake by Tassadar.
Yeah, I don't think SK really needed to go on the pursuit there. I think they had the space control. That's the power that you have with Sergeant Hammer. She sets herself up, but now, well, obviously she's actually going to fall to the Annihilating Spirit there, and at least that's a small feather in their cap after those engagements, but...
There's 3 temples now.
Yeah...
And they're going to lose at least 2.
Yeah, I mean, at least they've got a 2-keep advantage, and with one of the last one for Nexo being very, very low, so maybe this trade goes blow for blow and even, but...
It's not over yet. You're definitely right. This is not over yet, because all you need to drop the core is 1 temple.
Yeah.
So Nexo has to contest 3 temples. And they are going to try and take a kill there. That's why they are only occupying the top 2 now, because they know they will have to rotate if one of their opponents is going to another one. At the top, Grandpa Cat is already thinking about just abandoning it after a few shots. But yeah, this isn't over yet. But we have top keep now gone. Middle keep is gone in just a second. So this is a super tricky situation now.
Very close game. They're able to seize this middle temple, though, and now the core is going to get worked on here. They need to do something about this, because if they don't rival this middle temple, and bottom temple gets taken by Stitches as well...
I think they just lost.
Yeah, they're just going to lose.
Yeah, they're going to lose because there's nobody to rival bottom temple, and they didn't realize that Stitches was moving down there. Yep, game's over. They might fight the middle, but Stitches at the bot lane is going to finish the game in favor of SK Gaming. Yeah,
they're going to go for the engagement regardless here on QM Boss, as well as Bakery managing to get out of there. But there you go, GG. The Temples are able to win it out. They're trying to rally back down there, but it's not going to work out.
Well done by SK Gaming. Very strategic game here for them. Even with them losing the fight, they take the game, they take the series, and win the best of 3 at the ESL Major League against Nexo.